Because I think they would have benefited from, because I've gone to Tulane Institute of Jazz Studies, and I think after visiting the Clef Club's archive, I mean, there's a lot of benefit that could come from this project, going into their archives, cleaning it up, having it made available digitally, and then people around the world. I mean, that's what you need nowadays, is a digital archive for people to access. So I don't know if a more formal, I think in the letter, the response is almost like, can we request another meeting, and then we'll be able to give full detail of kind
Because,
of.
and I did tell them that, once the archives is running, there are many other funding possibilities, and particularly like the Mellon Foundation funds hidden collections digitization projects. And I said, your local 274 records would be prime candidate for a major digitization project. You could get money for that, but you got to have like a functioning archives to support that. And I was saying there was these other NEH and all these other funding possibilities, the state archives, which has much smaller grants, but I was trying to promote the idea that once you do invest in the archives with this grant funding, all these other funding
Yeah, it's
possibilities.
a necessary step.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, if I'm reading the way the meeting happened, it sounded like you introduced a problem to them. And if you had the opportunity, you would introduce an opportunity.
Right.
So given that, like everybody said, if you had the opportunity to kind of reframe this, that's how you would do it. Because, as Faye just said, you presented them with a $10,000 problem. Right? Not a multi-million-dollar opportunity.
Right.
And now with the LOI, you have 6 weeks, not only to prepare the response, but also get the board on board.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of time.
Well, if I were to draft a letter, and everybody had a chance to weigh in, and then would everybody be agreeable to signing, saying, we ask you to reconsider and give us an opportunity to present our case, a little more cogently.
But you have to do it with and
Yeah.
Helen and Lovett.
Yeah.
And they'll
And
tell
Helen,
you.
and
I did
Helen.
say Helen.
Oh, you did? I thought you
did.
said Ann. Oh,
And
okay.
Helen and Lovett. And they will give you the language. They know the board. They know what buttons to push. So they will help you draft. Because without their collaboration, you're not meeting with the board. So they have to,
Well,
to help
assuming we
draft
get
the
them
letter.
to,
Yeah, well,
I know Lovett is very much in favor of this
Yeah.
happening. Helen, and Helen, I mean, this was her, if you all remember,
She was
this was
so
her.
enthusiastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Ann, in her emails to us, remember, she was saying, this is a great project. I really feel this is gonna be funded. It's time for you to meet the board. I mean, so I think all three of them are.
See, I don't know the whole board. I'm
Maybe the
wondering which
executive
one on the
committee.
board was the one that shot everybody down so cleanly.
Well, the treasurer sounds like he has a lot of sway, so.
well, as he should.
Yes, he should.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was asking informed questions. There was a couple who I don't know, that were asking very sort of pointed questions of why are we doing this? Why are we
Well,
doing this?
one thing that is clear, given Helen's enthusiasm and given her sense that the board wouldn't have a problem with it, clearly they didn't communicate to her anything major in the strategic plan that they were about to implement.
Yeah.
So it's now perception is everything. So it could be that the board actually does have some major thing that they want to undertake. If they are interested in rebuilding the Clef Club, maybe they have some initiative that's going to be the beginning of that, phase one. But clearly that wasn't communicated to
They're
Helen.
going to undergo a major renovation to the
Yeah.
facility.
That is their major that is their major thing right now. And
Yeah, but you do it in
Helen-
phases. So what's the timeline?
they're waiting for a big
Yeah.
grant from the state within the next couple of weeks.
Oh, okay, they applied for.
The RACP.
Remember, Helen was kind of out of the picture, for a period of time.
Yeah.
With the city and Montgomery
Right.
County Community College, so she's kind of coming back, into play, and some of that planning went on while she was
Right, it-
not part of the Clef Club, staff.
Which is why this is,
So,
I don't know why this couldn't have been part of that rehabilitation of the building too.
Well, but that's what it could still be, right?
Yeah,
So like,
I hope
they,
you're right,
they have,
Heather.
they have, well, that's what they are also waiting, right, to hear from their, a major funder of theirs. So once they know about that money, they will probably announce the official capital campaign, but they could wrap this into the strategy if it's presented to them as an opportunity that would actually help make that pie bigger, which is what they need to do, so.
That's exactly what it is, though. It's an opportunity, and you get money because you already know that you have money.
Exactly.
Right.
And this
Right.
huge chunk of money is not,
Well-
it's not gonna endow the place, but it is
No.
gonna get you down the road.
And they're not gonna publicly announce their capital campaign until they get the RACP money,
And,
because,
and there's no guarantee they're gonna get it. What they've done, they've applied for $1 million grant from the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program. It's a very competitive, program, and, goes to the politically connected. I've, been involved with it, with corporate welfare, not with the Clef Club, but most of them developers. It's really, corporate welfare. So, they won't know, typically, for this cycle, this funding cycle, they won't know until May, June, whether they get the grant. And again, because it's so competitive, there's no guarantee they're going to get it. But,
It's a hell of a balancing act between,
Yeah, it doesn't leave us much time to,
no, it does. You still, one way or the other, you still just have 6 weeks.
yeah. So this is the consensus then, that we should try to revive the Clef Club approach and mend that rift, whatever it is, and,
and if I had Bill call
everybody-
anybody, I'd have him call
believe
Steve.
yes?
Seriously.
Diane, you're,
They can't,
And
that's
I
not,
think
that's not how
also,
it's
you know,
going.
again, whether it ends up there or not, you know, the relationship building, reestablishing those
Right,
connections and
right,
threads is
right.
essential as a community, you know.
and they
as well.
did, the president did say in his letter, they still want to be involved in a cooperative project, but it sounded like they didn't want to be the sponsor, you know, fiscal sponsor, but they
Right,
did
right,
want to
right.
continue to be involved, so at least.
well, we gotta change this.
And now that you shared, actually, if I was sitting at that table, I would have turned it down too. That the treasurer, he asked the right questions, and even at 10% of their operating budget, that's a big chunk to ask for an institution that's typically teetering on the brink of financial collapse. So they did, the board actually, in retrospect, I think they acted responsibly.
I'm not, you know, faulting them for asking those hard questions and making those decisions. I just think this all should have happened
Right,
3 months
right.
ago.
But you know what,
Yeah.
it was telling when Ann said it was time for you to meet with the board, that meeting should have taken place
Yeah.
in October, November, December. So she knew that this was not the time, this was not the
I think
meeting
she
at which
thought
the
it was gonna
decision
go
would be
through.
made.
Yeah, well,
But,
we
Yeah.
thought it was a formality, you know.
I saw
and
her,
Ellen thought it was a
her
formality.
positive emails about meeting with the board and everything. I think Helen and Lovett were on a different planet than the board. I gotta tell you right now, totally different planet. And I think this whole reversal came as a real blow and a big surprise. So that's the way I'm seeing it from the communications I've had and Jack has had.
The other thing I wanted to add, because this is something Gerald and I had spoken about earlier, is that even if it doesn't go through this time, I don't necessarily share your fear that we will lose momentum or any more enthusiasm, because it's an archive. This is not like a clickbait thing that has to happen tomorrow on the internet. This is something that will be around forever, and if it takes us a little bit to get organized and make sure that it's properly done and everybody's good and the community's
Yeah,
feeling
my only
whole, then-
response to that is that this is all being supported with grant funding.
Yeah. what we're
Without
doing.
that grant funding, I don't know that we can pull all these people
We,
together.
we can take a break to, until it's time to do the next one. But what I'm saying, I don't think there's anybody in this room who at that point wouldn't reconvene.